Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Redneck Paradise. Your Captain Cryptic Gaming here. So we're unpacking year 2 of Skull and Bones. Now, the most commonly asked question right now on the forums out there, if you're on Reddit and Quora and things like that, are basically, is the game worth coming back to? Do they have a lot of new release information coming into the game? I do believe so. We're going to go over some of that stuff today. If you look around this island here, we are at St. Anne, you're going to notice that, hey, it looks a little more polished. The seas look a lot more polished. We're going to be going out and showing you some of that in the game, but we are going to originally start you off with some of the major changes. Let me bring up our card here, and we're going to discuss some of the stuff that they've given us. Now, we gave you patch notes for what was coming in this initial release for this morning. We're going to go a little more depth into that right now in this video here. So, Year 2, Season 1 is called Ascent into Chaos. We're going to be getting a new ship. It is a medium hull. It is a schooner. We're going to be looking at some new cannons. There's going to be some new long nines and some new demis and things like that coming in. But we're also getting this new item Ascension. Now, you may be wondering, what is that? That is where you're going to be able to increase the value of not just your weapons, but your furniture. You're going to be able to do that in the new Skull and Bones. It means you're going to be able to come over here to ascend items, and you're going to pick what it is that you want to ascend. Now, I'm not going to run one because I need to do a little more research on this system, but it's going to make it so that you can actually come in and add different types of damage effects to your ship. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be some learning to this. Now, there is a new part that you're going to need to be able to do that, and you get that through the pass. You can buy those from the black market. You're also going to be able to bring your ship up to a level 7 now, for those who are wondering about that. Yes, you're going to be able to take it up to a level 7 upgrade. Again, you're going to need a new part for that. That's going to be in Tier 2 World. Maybe wonder, what is a Tier 2 world? Well, the worlds are now in tiers. So this is Tier 1 that we've been playing in Season 1. Tier 2, once you reach your ship to a certain level, you go into it and everything is a lot harder, but you get better payouts and you get better weaponry. You get better ships. You get better shields, things like that. So I know one of the big questions that most folks have is, does this game now offer large ships? Well, this game is now going to be offering large ships. Let me get to... Yeah, Masterwork Kit is what you're going to need to take your ships up to a level 7. But yeah, so in Season 2, you're going to be looking at your first large ship will be coming in. Now, Season 1, again, we're going to have a Death Tides PvP mode come out. Not entirely sure what that is, but my understanding is it's going to have specialized weapons and things like that that you can earn. And the only way to earn those types of equipment is to actually play the PvP. So Season 2 is going to be called Oaths of War. It's going to be Disputed Waters, Pick a Side. Now, what they're going to be doing is they're getting this game set up for factional play, or creating fleets, and it's also going to have factions. So if you've ever played MMO games, you have factions in there. So to give you an idea, you have Campaigny and DMC. So you're going to be able to pick between those two. Then you're going to be able to start building your own fleet. It's going to help create a more conducive pirate type of a established game in this game. So that's going to be pretty awesome. You're going to get large ships. You're going to get some mega fort upgrades as well. To get those ship items there, you have to go, and again, you're going to have to be in Tier 2 world, but you're going to have to go over here to your mega fort Houston, things like that. You're going to have to be able to come in here. That's Houston capital. Here's the mega fort. You're going to have to come in and defeat this thing in that new world. So you may be wondering, well, how do I get to Tier 2 world? Well, you're going to have to come in, you're going to have to run these world ascension missions here. And these are going to be doing different types of kingpins. You got to prove that you're worthy. And you got to come in, you got to defeat him. Then you're going to come in, and you got, as you can see, there's different locations you're going to come in. And once you have done that, then you're going to come over here to the black market. I'm excited. There's a lot of stuff to unpack here. Like I say, it's going to take a while. As I get into these systems a little bit more, we're going to definitely show you that. I am also going to show you the new Helm. So this is where you would come to World 2 once you are eligible, meaning once you have earned that right to come over here this is where you're going to come and you're going to be able to access World Tier 2, and then you're going to be able to load that up at the title screen once you've achieved that. So of course you still have your black market here, but right here is the big major changes, and I want to go over some of this because this seems to be one of the big differences here, guys. But just a quick rundown, throwing that card up there for you again. Season 3 is called Guts and Glory. There's going to be a reputation system where you're going to be able to forge alliances again. Like I said, you're going to be getting that fleet system, so you're going to be forging those alliances with other pirates, building your own fleets, picking, you'll be DMC or Campaign or whatever factions they give you in Season 2. And those will be depending upon what you'll be able to join. So if you played or even watched some of the games that I put up here, you had Eternum that recently come out. You had different factions that you could join. Well, those factions depended, they would actually take and change which groups you could join and which clans that you could join in game. Same thing's going to be in this. You're going to be getting an officer system, so you're going to be able to actually assign your officer. If you remember back in the beta, they had like lemurs and parrots and things that had different effects that would affect your crew and your boat and things like that. Well, that's going to be the same thing, but it looks like it's going to actually be actual people officers, so that'll be pretty cool. And yes, land combat is coming to the game in Season 3 for those who have been wanting to be able to be a pirate, pull your sword, pull your pistols, and just pirate it up. You're going to be able to do that in Season 3, starting in Season 3. That's just fantastic. Now, obviously, there's going to be new creatures coming in there. I've not read a whole lot of information on what those are going to be yet. They've not released those cards yet to me, so there's a lot of guessing and stuff, but one thing we do know for sure is Season 4, you will be getting that Kraken that we were all wanting. Now, I know a lot of us were kind of disappointed we didn't see it last season, but understand the Kraken, at least in the early tests of this game, before the early betas when people were getting in play, they had early test phases, and the Kraken would take like an entire group, meaning like an entire map, 20 people, and it was all you could do to barely beat them. And they were larger ships than what we had in Season 1. So we're going to be able to get our ships up to level 18 in Tier 2 worlds, so that's awesome. And then we're going to be able to have our large factional groups and go and fight Krakens and stuff like that. Now you can still pick up your contract, but they have released your Roadman Godin, the Karabu, and even the Lestari. I ran into those in just random locations. So another good thing here, they changed kind of the map layout. This looks pretty similar, but as we zoom out, you can see that the map has changed. And I'm going to sell us around here in a minute and show you some of the new polishing that they've done on this game, on the islands and stuff. It's just fantastic. A lot of the same similar controls we had before. You can tab over into your helm and things like that here. So we do have an auto fund now, which is pretty cool. That's great. So once you have an entire region, you can auto fund that region. You can auto collect certain regions. I don't know if auto collect is going to be available in all of them or even auto fund, but they do have that right there. As you see, we just auto funded these, so that's pretty good. So we're going to be able to also come in and claim produced items again. So that's pretty cool. I got a lot of work to do. You're going to notice when you do your helm here, these have changed. You're only going to be getting them to level 5. Now, it will cost you the same and pay out the same as getting it to level 10. But the big change here is the Helm Empire. If you remember, we had books laid out. We don't have the books anymore. It's a grid now. They call it a tree, a tech tree. It's the same purpose of the books. It's just changed a little bit. So some of the things you want to look at, I am capturing over here in Red Isle, so I went with the sea people just so I could get those factories up to the maximum levels will be 5. Working on that. Now you're going to notice that things are more expensive. Well, you got to figure instead of going up to 10 levels, you got to do it all in 5 now. So that's why the cost has boosted up, and you got to really work on that. So then of course your Helm Empire, which would be like your basic book. This is where you're going to get your Empire administration. You're going to have savvy traders. It's the different effects that you could have, your coercive growth, so you can start having higher manufactories and things like that. You're going to be able to capture more manufactories and stuff. And the same goes for every single one of these. So like here you see people, there of course is your Helm Empire. Then over here you have your Dominion of Rimpa, which would be those territories. Then Dutch Merchant Company territories, Confederation of Nguana territories, the Helm. So this is going to be your refineries up here. So remember the books that we had to do for our refineries. And then also over in Talak when we have your laboratory. Same deal. Instead of a book, you now have a tech tree. And then of course Campani Royal and the Clan of Farah. Now, you may be going, okay, I only have 30,000 eights. They go quick. As you can see, what we were able to upgrade there, we brought a level 4, some level 3s, and level 2 on our bases. And I made sure I kept everything within an auto collector just so I don't have to sign ships. The tricks that we used in the original, for those of you who are new to coming to this game or you're thinking about getting it, we'll go ahead and teach you a few tricks here. So you're going to create some distilleries here. And what you're going to do, this is going to be when you reach Kingpin. If you're not a Kingpin, you have to play through the game to reach Kingpin. Once you do that, you'd come over here to your supply networks. And what I do, and it still works, and I want to go over this again for those who either don't know or maybe you're wondering, will it still work? Anything that says roving, that is a ship. And if you destroy that ship, you don't have to pay that ship for the product you pull off of the ship, so you get it for free. You then would come over here and put that product over here in your distillery, or if you're up at Tulak Panjara, you're going to put it in the lab and create product. At which point, once you get your product created, you're going to come over here to the order registry. And again, you can deliver it to an island if you want. Remember, you are a pirate in this game. You do not have to be a salesman. So if it is a roving mission, you pick that up. When you go out, you don't have to carry the materials with you. You just take the stuff out and you sink the merchants that's supposed to buy it, and you take those pieces of 8, and that will get you your pieces of 8 a lot quicker. It's going to help you out. You also have something pretty cool on this. I want to show you this as well. Now, you may be remembering back in the days like, okay, I own this territory. Why is it I have to come in here and plunder it to get the types of materials? Well, no longer do you have to do that. If you want to collect pieces of 8, maybe you don't need pieces of 8, and you go, you know what, I want to start collecting, say, quicklime or dry sand or blue lotus. Okay, these are going to pay your imperial jade and your blue lotus opium, but you're also going to be collecting those on top of the 8s as well. But you're also going to be able to come in here and collect these other, like the dry sand boxes. You're going to be able to come over here and collect this quicklime, and each territory is going to have its own material. So here, you have your carved jade, which is going to pay your 8s. Not all of them are going to give you things, but like this here, you can do your fine linen over there, your acacia planks, and that's going to be true of any and all of these things. As you come in, you're going to be able to find out after you collect it, when you go to fund it, what you're funding is either pieces of 8 or different types of materials. So that's going to be really awesome. It's going to help out a lot with stuff. No more coming in and having to grind out a lot of these things. They still have the Helm Empire and stuff that you can run these different types of pieces of 8. You can still buy the different territories. Let's see what this is here. So this is something that I actually already own. But it is worth going to, because you could get 450 pieces of 8, or you could end up getting a helm lease. So I'm going to go up here. I typically, these that you can buy, I go ahead and typically jump in there, snag those real quick. If it's something I have on hand, and grab those. Let's do that real quick. But remember, you're back at square one. You don't have your books completed, your helm management completed. So you got to figure out a quick way to do that. Now you can go and you can do like we did, collect the 8s and do all the upgrades and all that kind of mess again, or you could do the little tricks that we learned in season 1, year 1, season 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's pretty awesome stuff. So as you can kind of see a little bit, everything's looking a little smoother. We actually have a little bit better graphics around the water. One of the things you gotta watch out in the storms is lightning strikes will hit your ship. Now, they do give you a little telltale giveaway on the water. They will actually make like a little radiating electrical spark. Now, if you are in that zone, whenever the lightning comes down, it will damage your ship. If you have a low level ship, a level 1 or a level 2, you're not fully upgraded, it will destroy your ship. It will not just damage it, it will actually sink you to the bottom of the bay. It's not playing around. You can have a fully upgraded ship and it will take half of your health. Just boom. Okay, let's see our buyout here. So we got fine hemp, so we're going to go ahead and buy this up here. Okay, so that worked out pretty good. Now we're going to bring up this. Now there's Kingpin Shops, which is where we were just at. You can pick up different types of missions on that as well. Again, we already own that, so we should be getting a chest here. Alright, so as you come in here, we should be able to access our stuff and see what we ended up getting in that chest. Okay, so we ended up getting Vikram pants. I think this was actually something we just opened up. I don't believe that was our Golden Raider cache. Now here's our Golden Raider cache. That was something I opened from an earlier mission. So sugar cane, some things like that. Nothing really to write home about. But we are up to 1,700 pieces of 8, so it paid us the 8s straight in instead of putting it in a box now. So that's good to go. We're now going to travel back over here. To our Helm area. And I want to start upgrading some of my Helm Empire. Now the book, like I said, Infamy Quest. Close that down. Again, they're going to come in and they're going to reteach you. We have bounty board missions and things again. I'm not seeing, like I said, I'm not in World Tier 2. That's where the major changes are going to start happening. But as you can see, there's enough of the changes in the sea and around the islands and stuff to really kind of pique your interest and get you back into the game. And then the new mission lines, the ability to be able to upgrade your weapons and stuff to bring those ships up to level 15 so that you can start entering into those new territories and stuff as well. So elevate your prowess by trading at the Helm Contraband with Kingpins. So that'll be at a Kingpin shop. Now, what does that mean? I think that means that you're going to be able to buy and sell. I think that's just buying and selling from him. I don't think that's buying and selling from other players. Let's double check that. I heard rumor that there was a way to be able to sell to other players. Double check. Nope, so that's just through him. That may be something in open market coming out. I know we've been able to do that in the past. But I don't imagine it's going to be its own separate store ever. So, but I hope that's kind of give you some idea of what's coming in. I hope that helps you out with the game. So we'll hop off here and get back to playing. Like I said, I've got a lot of grinding to do to get to the point where I can get Tier 2 World. Once I get to World Tier 2, I will be making a video showing you guys that and explaining it a little more depth. And once I get a little bit better handle on the weapon creations over there, where we're actually able to create our own weapons and our own furniture and things and raise those levels up, be making some videos on that. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for a group, Banished Souls group still exists, guys. We have Why So Serious and a bunch of the other guys there running that. You know, I'm still over there playing with everyone, but right now, you know, thankfully, because you know, I had to step back from a lot of the serious gaming effect. Those guys stepped up. They have been running that over there, and let me tell you, man, everyone hit the ground running this morning at 3 a.m. when this released, and we have just been having a blast. We'll see everyone later.